Pisces, welcome to your weekly reading. Let's get started and see what messages we have for Pisces for the week ahead. Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Let's get started. Now, keep in mind that these are general readings and may not resonate for everyone, so check out your other placements and take the messages that resonate and leave the rest behind. Okay, my friends, let's see here. What is the energy around Pisces for the week ahead? Thinker, card 44. Very interesting. This is a time where you're really reflecting on something. So much so that we're getting this card as sort of a theme for your week. So it's interesting. This card can sort of, when it comes up, it can suggest that right now is a time where you're already focused on something. You're already sort of thinking about something and reflecting on it quite a bit. I wonder if you're trusting things or not. I'm wondering if you're thinking and strategizing because you're sort of overly focused on logic and reason right now. That's sort of where I'm being guided here. I feel like maybe something around you is got you really strategizing, kind of thinking very logically right now, Pisces, which is intriguing. I'm wondering if maybe needing to keep things more simple is sort of a better use of your energy, and that maybe right now it's time maybe to take an action instead of overthinking things, instead of just looking at things logically, to sort of also not dismiss this idea of just going with the flow, and to, it's interesting. There may be a need for action, an action that is not based in fantasy, but actual action that you have strategized a plan here. This is very interesting. This could be a time where you're being guided towards something that's not logical. And so it's important not to just keep circling around it going, it's not logical, but just to take an action, almost to take a risk or to take a leap of faith here, instead of trying to understand things purely by thinking about them. It's interesting. You may need to take an action, and right now you might just be focused on strategizing, which is sometimes a way of procrastinating. When we overthink things, that can limit our actions because we're just busy thinking about it instead of doing it. Do you know what I mean? That feels like what's going on here, Pisces. You're thinking about it too much, and instead you're being guided to just do it and see what will happen, instead of trying to imagine, if I do this, then this. If I do this, then this. It's almost like by doing that, you're staying stuck. You're not moving forward. And look at that. We see the Sun and the Hermit as I cut the deck. So it's interesting. Let's jump into the tarot cards here and see what messages we have for Pisces about this deep thought that you're in. Okay, there's the Justice card coming out in reverse. So let's get your other cards out. But that already tells me that overthinking this is not serving you. You are at a crossroads and you need to take an action. It's time to walk the talk, if you will, instead of just thinking about it, right? And you may be sort of stuck in strategy mode because the action that you would take is going to sort of reject something that is outdated for you, but may still be very conventional and traditional, but it's no longer serving you and never maybe did serve you. We see the 10 of Cups or the 10 of Pentacles here on the bottom of the deck. That makes me wonder if this is about money, and whether or not you're sort of strategizing a plan that will lead to abundance and prosperity and wealth. And instead you're almost being guided to just go for it. You gotta start taking action towards this plan. And it's interesting because that justice in reverse is sort of like, we need to actually take an action. There's only so much weighing out of things you can do. Sometimes you need to actually face an action and deal with the consequences as they happen, right? Instead of sort of not taking any action, otherwise you're going to just stand still, Pisces. And so it's interesting. This is going to be a challenge, I think, for you because of that Hierophant in reverse. You may need to step away from something that felt very solid, something that feels like it's almost like a convention or a tradition, but it's outdated. It's no longer serving you. There is something stagnating here, and I think it's you. You're rejecting some things, but you haven't taken any action yet, Pisces. I feel like you're just sitting in contemplation. And right now, this reading is guiding you to take an action. Right now, it's time to end this cycle of being all talk and no action. Okay? It's time for action. And so you're in deep reflection about something to do with, I think, the material world, jobs, prosperity, money, wealth, resources. You're overthinking. See, there's the 8. You're overthinking this. 8 of Swords. And as a result of overthinking it, you're trapped in your own thoughts. You're becoming trapped in your own thoughts. Wheel of Fortune in reverse here. King of Cups in reverse. Page of Pentacles in reverse. And finally, we see that 9 of Cups. This is something about emotional fulfillment on the level of like what would feel the most fulfilling for you. And so there's a lot at stake here because you're dealing with some thoughts about stuff that is very meaningful to you, but you're reluctant to take an action. And maybe you're reluctant to take an action because you're not sure what to do, or maybe it's fear, or maybe it's this idea that, there's been a few setbacks. When I see that Wheel of Fortune in reverse, you may have tried to take an action recently and then maybe it didn't go how you thought it would go. I kind of feel like it may have involved a conversation with others. When I see that bottom of the deck here, you've got the 5 of Swords in reverse. So, and right behind it is the 10 of Cups, my friends. I think you're this close. Like, I think you're so close to reaching this situation that you've been dreaming about. This is a wish fulfilled here with the 9 of Cups, but it's almost like you experienced a setback and then you were like, well, forget it. Now I have to go back to the drawing board. But really, I think that doesn't serve you, but you're almost at a loss here. You're not sure where to go next or what to do. And it's interesting because I do feel like this crossroads you're at, you need to just take an action, to take a choice, to take an action, to sort of, it's okay if something feels outdated and it doesn't fit for you, even if it fits for lots of people, it might not fit for you. You're unique. We're all unique. And so it's interesting. That Hierophant in reverse is sort of making me feel like you in order to overcome whatever setbacks you've experienced here, it's almost like you have to trust that if something's not for you, it's not for you. Even if it fits for a lot of other people, and maybe there's people in your life even saying, you're gonna do what? And it's sort of like, you just need to commit. There's a lack of progress here when we see the Page of Pentacles. There's a lack of progress. That Wheel of Fortune in reverse also tells me that you're not fully committing to something. You're procrastinating a little bit, and it's not a judgment. It's just that you're, I think, at a loss of where to go next with this idea that you have. And I think there has been setbacks. I think you've made a few attempts and they didn't work out. So, but ultimately your focus right now, it has to do with something about abundance, wealth, fortune. This is really something tied to your emotional fulfillment and your ability to be self-reliant. And I feel like it's time to take an action. That's what this reading is suggesting here for you, Pisces. Time to pull the trigger on this and go for it. Even if you experience setbacks, trust that those are opportunities of learning. Don't judge yourself into thinking that you failed in some way. You haven't failed. Those are early attempts at success. Early attempts at success. Now, let's see here. What do you need to surrender or surrender to? Surrender or surrender to here for Pisces. Surrender to play. You need to play more and surrender your fear of change. Isn't that interesting? And bottom of the deck, yep, surrender obsessive thinking. That's wild stuff, considering that this whole reading started with the thinker card. So, I mean, the writing's on the wall here for you, Pisces. Let's start with the surrender to play. Take a break from overthinking a goal. Your whole reading is about overthinking. Take a break from overthinking a goal. Do something fun. Play is a part of play is a time, of recreation and rejuvenation. So you could almost be shooting yourself in the foot by overthinking how to get to this abundance and how to choose an action. It's almost like you need to surrender some of this overthinking and go with whatever feels like it's going to, be an option for you, even if it involves significant change or rejecting something that is conventional and just sort of leaning into it, it feels like. It says here, the universe is reminding you that you are cared for always. Whether you're afraid of change in your job, your health, or a relationship, or if you fear aging or death, repeat this affirmation: I have faith that all is well. Right? Very interesting. And then this card on the bottom of the deck, I'm blown away. Surrendering obsessive thinking. If you're obsessing about a person or a situation, turn the dilemma over to spirit. Doing so will help bring you to clarity or even solve the problem. And so it's very interesting. Sort of this thinking obsessively is not serving you, and you're being guided to go release and have some fun, play, do something that feels rejuvenating. And if you're fearful of change, like if in your obsessive thinking or in your overthinking, you keep coming up with solutions, but then you quickly say, well, that's not possible because of this, or I can't do that because of this, then perhaps it's not the idea that's flawed. Perhaps it's these blocks that you're creating because you fear change, or you see so many limits in your situation that you're not able to even sort of stay calm in the emotion of change, right? We see that King of Cups in reverse. And that tells me that you might be having a fearful reaction to something that's shifting around you, and then you suddenly just say no, and you go right back to doing whatever it was that you were doing in the first place. And I feel like that is stagnating you from this reading. I feel like action is necessary, and it's like, a playful action. You might need to just get out of your head for a minute here and have some fun so that you lighten your energy and that you're paying attention to any sort of signs or synchronicities, and you're not dismissing them because they involve a significant change in your life. Change might be what you need. You might need to change something in order for this Nine of Cups to fulfill itself, and this Ten of Pentacles. Right? I mean, these are beautiful energies to have present in your reading, but I feel like, because they are so meaningful to you, you're overthinking how to get here, and it might be more simple than you think. This is very interesting reading for you this week, Pisces. I'm going to leave it at that. If this has resonated for you, please consider subscribing, liking, sharing, commenting. If you would like a personal reading, I do offer personal readings right now, and the link for that is in the description below. All right, my friends, take care. Have a great week. Sending you so much love and light.